Hello, YouTube. Coming at you from the very frigid, cold bunker tonight. Yeah, it's just been a very, very Arctic weekend here in Nebraska, so I'm kind of doing about the only thing that I can do at this point. And that's work on some reloading projects. Good cold afternoon, evening to do that. I'm working on some 223 ammunition, trying to get a couple hundred cranked out. And right now, I'm just kind of delving into some case trimming. You may recall a while back, I introduced a new tool that I had purchased, and I promised a follow-up video once I had run the tool for a while. So I have been running this one for a couple of months, and it's working really, really well, just as advertised. I'm really, really pleased. Again, this is called World's Finest Trimmer by the Little Crow Gun Works in Minnesota. It's a fabulous tool. It's an all-metal tool. It's two pieces. There's a cutoff mandrel that you fit that end of it down into your drill, and then this end is the bearing and the cutter that the case actually fits into. It seats off the shoulder for this, and that makes it go really, really fast. You just put it in and you turn the drill on and you feel it cutting, and then you feel it stop cutting, and then you're done. On to the next one. It goes very, very fast. You could do, man, I'm trying to think. So you could do almost 200 an hour if you're really good, maybe even a little bit more than that. 200 cases an hour, which, I used to use a lead trimmer. Lead trimmers are great, but there's no way you're getting 200 an hour out of a lead trimmer. You guys spend all the time chucking it up, trimming it, unchucking the case, moving on. You're not going to get 200 an hour, I don't think, even using one of those mandrel, type tools, like the Lyman or the Hornady, where you hook it up on a drill, and you still got to chuck it in, chuck it out. So it's time consuming, and anything to save time in case prep, particularly case trimming, I'm going to do. And so these tools, they do take some setup. There is a learning curve. It's a two-piece tool. So you take your set screws. There's one here on this side, one here on this side. You loosen those, and that allows the tool then to slide up and down on that cutting mandrel. That it fits all the way up into here where the cutting end of it is. The other end fits in your drill. And once you loosen those screws, you can slide it up and adjust your length. You take a case that's already cut the length. You have to use your lead trimmer at least one more time, get it cut to the length you want. In this case, I think these are supposed to be 1.750 for our trim length for 223. It seats off the shoulder, as I said, so you put it in there. You start, of course, with a resized case. You do this after you resize, so that the shoulder dimensions and everything, case dimensions, are right. Case will fit in there to the shoulder, and then the neck fits up inside the rest of the tool and gets up against that cutter. And when you turn it on, it then cuts. And when it gets, when it cuts enough of that end of that neck off, that brings the shoulder of the case down to the inside of your bearing there. You won't go in anymore, and you won't feel it cut anymore. And then you're done. You throw it in the bucket and go on to the next one. Like I said, it does take a little bit of setup. You might have to, the first time you cinch down your screws and then run a couple test cases, you might find they're a little long, a little short. But you'll get the hang of it, and you'll get that thing set at the end. You're making some pretty fine adjustments to get them to where you want, and it works out really great once you put the torque down on those set screws. I've had this one set up for weeks, and it never changes. It's a really well-made tool. As I said, it's all metal. It's got a sealed bearing on this end. Really great, tool grade cutter on the inside, and it's just not going to wear out. It's just a well-made tool. It isn't cheap. I think these run about 70 to 80 bucks. You might have been able to get them a little cheaper back over the holidays, but I really didn't see it. So you think, wow, if you got three of those, that's almost $250 on trimmers. Kind of takes your breath away. But they are that good. They do save that much time, especially on 223, stuff that I'm trying to load in bulk and just whip through it. You can go as fast or as slow as you want. I mean, I zip through the 223 just as fast as I can. When I'm doing 30-06, I'm still trying to save a little bit of time, but I can still go slow enough and get those so that each of those cases is exactly the right length, that I want, because that's a little bit more of my precision shooting ammunition. My 308's somewhere in the middle. It's not really precision ammo, but it is, you do want to get some accuracy out of it, but I'm still loading a lot of it, so it saves time there with 308. So as I said, there is a learning curve with setting the tool up. There's a learning curve with using the tool. You have to remember that this is brass. Brass is very, very flexible. You have to remember that this is there's a drill mechanism in here. And I think you see some comments on the internet, guys are saying, oh, my trim lengths are all over the place, I can't get any consistency. I think what those guys are doing is they're running that thing in there and they're turning the drill on and they're just wrenching on it. And you got to remember, that's brass. You know, that brass is going to flex. You know, you can shove that shoulder and that neck down against the inside of that bearing and onto that cutter just as hard as you want. You can run it 5-10 thousandths short, no problem. You know, it's brass. Everything here is going to flex. The inside of the drill is going to flex. You know, it's going to flex back against the case. You can cram it down in there, and you know it will give, and you'll be able to jam it down in there enough to really screw up your trim lengths. But you can do that with anything, you know, pretty much. What you want to do is you want to just kind of get used to using it. There's a touch to it. There's a feel for it. You put your piece of brass in there. You feel it hit the into the mandrel. Turn it on. It starts cutting. You can feel the vibration. And you can feel it as it's cutting away. The chips all fly out of these holes here, so that's why I'm kind of trying to stay over a trash can here as it's cutting. And then at a certain point, you'll feel it just smooth out. I mean, it's not cutting. So stop pushing on it, all right? You know, you might give it just a little bit of a twist. You recommend like a little half turn at the end to kind of square it up. Makes a very nice, flat, square cut. It leaves almost no burrs on the outside of the case to speak of. I don't even worry about, deburring the outside of these 223 cases anymore unless I find one that's really got something ragged on it. For the most part, it is not. You know, you still have to bevel the inside. But you're good to go right as they come out of the tool. You know, if you do it right, you start with, nice resized cases, trim them up, and like I said, you can do nearly 200 an hour, which is a big improvement for me. As far as consistency, I think the tool is really, really consistent. Couple here. We'll put in the calipers. I hope you can see this. I don't know how this is going to come out on camera, so we'll just go for it here. I don't know. I'm not Johnny's reloading bench here, so we're not getting the astute camera work that he gets, unfortunately. So anyway, so as I said, 1.750 is what we're going for, and so well, that was not a very good representative, is it? There we go. Hope you can see that. 1.752 on that one. Here's another one. And on this one here, 1.750, I think we're saying. Yeah, I might be wrenching down on that a little bit, making it too short, but it's about 1.750. And that's the way they all come out, just within a couple thousandths of where I want them. It's not a big deal for plinking ammunition. If you've ever taken apart factory ammunition and measured some of those cases, man, some of your better ammunition, even like Lake City and stuff, I've pulled Lake City and measured it. Unfired Lake City, just pulled the bullets and powder out and started measuring cases. And sometimes you'll find maybe as much as 10 thousandths of an inch in variance, even in that ammunition in the case length. So if I can keep these within 2, 3, 4 thousandths of an inch, right around that 1.750 without a whole lot of variance beyond that, I'm fine. As I say, I'm just making plinking ammunition. Speaking of plinking ammunition, I do hope to get out to the range tomorrow. I'm going to take up this issue of the 5.56 223 ammunition that I started also in a previous video or two in my reloading practice for dealing with 223 5.56 using IMR 3031 powder and 55 grains and 62 grain bullets. I still get some people kind of harshing my buzz a little bit on those two videos, and so I'll kind of go through that. If you want to go back and watch those two videos at this point to get an idea of kind of what I was talking about, I'll try and put those all together on the channel so that you can kind of watch them in order. But that video will also be coming out. Again, it's a practice that I do. It just kind of simplifies things, saves me some time, and it doesn't require me to have to set up powder dispenser every time, based on what bullet I'm shooting. I only shoot 2 weights of bullets out of that rifle, either 55 grain boat tail or a 62 grain boat tail. Soft points, metal jackets, it doesn't matter. I've found that load, that 21.5 grains of IMR 3031 in a variety of loading manuals, clear up to like 23 grains even on that 62 grainer, So I'm at 21 and 21.5. I think I'm well within safety limits on that. it's just something that, I just throw that load of powder in, that charge of powder, regardless of what weight of bullet I happen to have on the shelf. Just grab them and grab my powder dispenser that's set to that charge, and you just go. And it's just something that kind of, it kind of just simplifies my life a little bit. And when you're loading a handful or more of different calibers, anything you can do to kind of cut down one step or one less thing to worry about. So anyway, I'm going to take that ammunition to the range, and we'll kind of do some range testing on it. The proof's in the pudding, usually. So I'll take that to the range tomorrow, and we'll put the rubber of the road on that, as well as some other things, which I'm going to be looking forward to bringing you. So again, thank you for joining me. I hope you all are staying warm where you are, and we'll see you again next time. Thank you.